This podcast is brought to you by Penji. Penji is a creative subscription service that gives you access to pre-vetted, agency-trained creatives from all over the world. From graphic design to illustrations to social media management and web development, it's all included for one monthly price. It's time to say goodbye to the hassle of searching for top-notch creative talent. With Penji, you get quality and consistency delivered right to your inbox every day, carefully crafted for you by humans. So meet your new creative team today. Head over to penji.co for more and enter the coupon code located within the podcast show notes.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the First 100 podcast. This is the podcast where we explore the journey of entrepreneurs, business owners, agency leaders who share with us the experiences that they've had, strategies, challenges, and triumphs that have led them to secure those first 100 customers. I'm your host, Daniela, and I'm Penji's partnership coordinator. Today, I'm joined with a very special guest, David Meltzer. Hi, David. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for taking the time to have me here.
Very excited to have you today on the podcast. So, just so that we can get started, get everything warmed up, for anybody who's listening and watching that doesn't know who you are or doesn't know about you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do?
Sure. Well, I kind of lived a journey of three different worlds. Started with the world of not enough, where I was born in Akron, Ohio, to a single mom with six kids who packed my dinner in a paper bag as she was a second grade teacher, and then filled up turnstiles at convenience stores with greeting cards just so we could eat. So my world of not enough as a victim, my solution was to be rich. I wanted to buy my mom a house and a car. And learned a lot of lessons around the way, trying to be a professional football player, which was a silly childhood dream, to being a doctor and finding out I didn't like hospitals, to finally going to law school and being very intentional about being an oil and gas litigator because they made the most money and out of law school. And unfortunately, I did not become a lawyer. I took the bar, but ended up in the internet in 1992. Despite my mom telling me the internet was a fad and it never would last, 9 months out of law school, I was a millionaire. And I learned that money actually did buy happiness, but it didn't buy fulfillment, passion, or purpose. And 3 years after I graduated law school, we exited to Thomson Reuters for $3.4 billion. I then moved my technology career into middleware in the Silicon Valley, raised hundreds of millions of dollars. And in 1999, became CEO of Samsung's data division, their first convergence device. And I, at that time, 31 years old, thought I had everything. I lived in the world of just enough for me, buying stuff I didn't need to impress people I didn't like. Money did make me happy, but once again, did not bring me fulfillment, passion, or purpose. And I learned as I ventured to run the most notable sports agency in the world, Lee Steinberg Sports Entertainment. They made the movie Jerry Maguire about our firm. I learned that if your purpose is not greater than your pain, you're in big trouble. And so in 2008, running the most notable sports agency in the world, I lost everything. I lost over $100 million while I was married to my dream girl with three daughters under 10 who are healthy and happy. And that's when I started my journey in 2008, 16 years ago, to make a lot of money, to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun, to live in passion, purpose, and profitability, and in a journey of empowering others to do the same. So I went from the world of not enough to the world of just enough to this world that I live in today as a speaker, author, coach. I have my own media company and do several different movies, TV shows, all to empower people to live in abundance. And I live in that world of more than enough. And that's why I'm here today, to hopefully empower over 1,000 people, to empower 1,000, to empower 1,000, to change the collective consciousness of the world to be happy.
That's like, this is probably a tangent, but what you said about sort of growing up with a big family and then wanting to have money because of that really resonated with me because we're 5 kids, right? So it's very similar to you. And I've seen my parents struggle financially raising us throughout the years and how much it has taken a toll on them and like just grow gray hairs from just, I think people don't realize how hard it is to actually think about breakfast, lunch, and dinner for so many children and yourself. It's like massive amounts of food, right? That you have to like buy and stuff. And I had the same feeling that you did of, like, I wanna buy my mom a house, I wanna give her a car, I wanna, like, because you just see all of these financial struggles, and I think it really resonated with me because it really does give you that drive of, like, "I need money."
Yeah. And it also, you usually, we had 5 boys and a girl. You have a greater family life than most people. You have more love with that many people that are relative to you in such a small space, especially if you don't have a lot of money. And so there's this dichotomy of you have so much more than most people have, but you don't realize it because every day there's financial stress, whether
Yeah.
the rent, the car, anything that ever breaks down in your life, anything that ever doesn't go as planned is a financial stress.
Yes, oh my
And,
gosh.
and so because every day holds things that don't go as you plan, there's financial stresses every day. So it is almost impossible growing up with that many kids that you don't focus in on the only thing that causes dis-ease in your life, which is finance.
Yeah, it's true, I mean, I think, like, that it really speaks to me, like, because I think that that's kinda, like, been my experience from, like, a big family perspective of, like, all of the issues are usually surrounding money, right? Because emotionally, you have so much, you're never lonely with a big family because there's always someone in the house, and, you have entertainment, and you don't need to invite anybody to a party because your family's the party,
Yeah,
right?
you don't need Bravo because you're living it.
Literally. And I learned so much about, like, being in a community from being from a big family. Like, when I moved out on my own, I realized that I was a really good roommate just because I was so used to being with other people.
Yeah. Well, I actually even learned later on in life that, uh, I have OCD, and I would be so neat because everything was so chaotic. And so the only thing I can control was the things around me. So I put them all in order. So I put things where, and so I was always clean, neat, and even cleaning the house for my mom because the only sense of control that I had, or ease. And now that I'm 56 and in a different situation, we have 4 kids. But when things get chaotic, I do different things, and I start focusing in on other things that uh, give me control when chaos exists. And it all stems back from living in daily chaos is a huge superpower,
Yeah.
because it allows you to have your purpose be greater than the pain, or the perspective that comes from chaos.
Yeah, for real. And it's like that, like I said, it's probably like a tangent, but it just really spoke to me because I have like a very similar situation and everything that you said was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, that's so true." Um, and it really I think it's like one of the biggest factors that pushes people like that to like want to grow. Which actually brings me to my first question, which is, I mean, you have had an incredible journey from like throughout your entire lifetime, right? You experienced lows and then highs and then lows and then highs. It's kind of like how you've described it. That journey from you mentioned that in 2008, you sort of, you lost all of this, right? You stopped being a CEO, you transitioned into this sort of thought leader, new idea. How has all of this changed the way that you approach leadership, your entrepreneurial journey in general? How has all of this changed your views and how you approach it?
I think from those worlds of for me to through me. So the perspective of me as a leader in the corporate world and my own business, it was for me. And I was constantly in the transaction, trading and negotiating, even given I'm extremely abundant and won all these humanitarian awards and been blessed to be honored and given millions of dollars. But even in my giving, it was transactional. I was giving to receive. And now, as a leader, I became an intelligent follower, someone who listens for what other people want, learning from them what they value, to give them more of what they like and take away some, if not all, of what they don't like, to provide true value by empowering and elevating others, to elevate myself as a true leader. And so for me, instead of living in a zero sum game where I was giving to receive, but always receiving less than I gave, but expecting the more I gave, the more I would receive, I delved into, as you mentioned, this all thought leadership of changing the way I looked at things. And the things I look at then changed, and understanding abundance and having not only wisdom as a leader, but faith that there was something bigger than me, an omniscient, all powerful, all knowing source to be a resource, a leader of, in order to effectuate giving more, elevating my awareness through gratitude and forgiveness, accountability, and even inspiration to identify what I've been given. So the more that I would give, the more I could see what I was given. And no longer was I punished in the world of not enough as a victim, or living in the world of buying shit I didn't need to impress people I didn't like, but instead an elevated, abundant world, a unified, abundant system of thought that I could lead in, to give more and be given more, and then feel worthy through wisdom and faith, shortening the distance of resistance that I created for myself to receive more, and then even elevating my faith to ask for more. And when I learned the more I gave, the more I was given, the more I was given, the more I could receive, the more I received, the more I could ask for. Instead of trading more for less, I gave more, was given more, received more, asked for more than more, now was able to give more than more, be given more than more, receive more than more, and ask for more than more than more. And I know where I'm going to end up when I'm 80, with more than enough of everything for everyone, living as a leader in abundant, with wisdom and faith, shortening the distance of resistance in my life.
That's amazing. And I actually wanted to ask you, because like all of this journey has obviously, you've learned a lot from that, and you can like sit here right now on the other side and say it. But while you were going through all of this, through all of these highs and all these lows, and when you thought that you had lost everything, and you worked hard for this, and now you're back on square one. How did you mentally navigate these kind of challenges? How did your resilience play a role in this, or did you have to like build it from scratch? I think it's for people who find themselves at rock bottom, or at like, necessarily not necessarily rock bottom, but just like at a place where they never expected to be. It's really hard to find the mental capacity to pull yourself out of it.
Yeah, I think understanding outcomes, and when I stopped focusing my attention and intention on the outcomes, what I wanted, what other people wanted, what was missing, what I didn't have, searching for what I was afraid of. And I realized that the search of outcomes and the search of fear are infinite in its nature. It was a waste of my time. What I realized was, if I can analyze the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential by looking at the behaviors. See, good behaviors are only determined by yourself, what your divine direction is, of where you want to be or better. And we're only limited to where we get to by two things: the meaning of the past, the separation of the past, the failure, setbacks, mistakes of the past, successes, defining moments, even historical relevances of the past, and our self image. And we will never overachieve our own self image. And so when I started to analyze the values that I had and the practices of my behavior that I was utilizing, and how congruent it was with my execution on my behaviors, I realized that there is no pursuit of happiness, that happiness was the pursuit. And if I aligned my behavior and defined my behavior as good by aligning it with my divine direction in divine time, that the divine detours that occurred in my life, the problems, setbacks, mistakes, failures, which I had huge ones. I lost over $100 million, went bankrupt, even had to ask my mom to move out of her house. So you can imagine the divine detours that I took. But in that behavior, the only outcome that I'm concerned with is progress. And I'm too, as a human being, incapable of understanding or knowing how losing everything, how losing over $100 million could actually be a promotion and protect me from myself, and be a form of love to put me in a better place, a better situation, a divine direction. And that divine detour defined me as who I am today, and provided me the ability to make more money than I ever did, have more fun than I ever have, and live my life to help other people. And I help more people than I ever have. And so for me, I don't look at fear or outcomes. I only look at the reaction of me in my fear because it's instant and obvious. So when I'm angry, upset, resentful, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, guilty, resentful, it's obvious and it's instant. And so I just use time to spend minutes and moments interfering with where I want to be. So instead of trying to get more in a transactional way my whole life, I am already there. I am happy. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am worthy. I just got to figure out what I'm doing to interfere with it. And it's the reaction to fear that interferes with it. And I want to spend less time in that reaction to fear. And so that's been the strategy of knowing my values, gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration in an execution model based off of daily practices, behaviors of knowing what I want today by not only creating a divine direction, but looking at the meaning of the past, who I can help, who can help me, how best to get it done, and then prioritize my day accordingly and apply my why, not search for it.
That's interesting. And I wanted to ask as well, because, you've also been emphasizing a lot gratitude and giving back to your community and, sort of you get a lot, but you also give a lot, right? How can any individual or any, I suppose, future entrepreneur, future leader apply that into their own growth and into their own life? I think a lot of people struggle with that, especially when growth is very sort of individually focused, right? Of like, I have to grow, I have to grow. I don't have space for anybody else.
Yeah, well, it's knowing your who, because the fastest way to get to where you want to be is finding someone that's already there and asking them for directions and then helping other people get to where they want to be. That's the easiest and fastest way to get there. That's why my prayer every morning is not only may God put at least 10 people in front of me that I can help, but I also pray for 10 people that can help me get to where I want to be. And so knowing our who, asking for help is the fastest and easiest way to get to where we want to be. And then we don't have to rely on human capability and human nature in order to effectuate learning situationally with the dummy tax that's involved on how to get there because someone's already there. Why not just ask them for directions and accelerate, aggregate, and compound our outcomes exponentially by helping someone else get to where they want to be? And so I always say, know your who, and you will get to where you want to be or better. It's the number one mistake that I had made in my past. And it's the advice that I would give my 16, 26, 36, 46, and even 56-year-old self. Ask for help. Know your who you can help and who can help you.
That's really interesting, like relying on others and asking for help is definitely one of the things that for us humans are is hardest to do and very overlooked for sure.
Yep. No, it's a biggest mistake of my life. And I help encourage other people to ask for help.
Well, David, it's been really interesting to learn all of these things from you. I think it has been a really eye-opening conversation, and our viewers will be very excited to learn all of this. But for anybody who would like to talk to you or learn more about you or, you know, maybe ask for your services, where can floor's yours to tell us where we can go and find you?
Well, thank you so much. I want to offer everyone in your community my book. So I will sign my book, send it to you. I'll pay for the book, pay for shipping. Uh, David at dmeltzer.com. I answer all the emails myself. You can find me anywhere. So Google me, David Meltzer, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok at David Meltzer. But the best way to reach me, get a free book. I'll send it to you, pay for shipping and the book, David at dmeltzer.com. Thank you so much for having me. Remember, everybody, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds.
Amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. And for everybody watching, I will be adding all of your information to the description so that those that are watching this can go in and click on the links. And for those listening, go to the video. No, I'm kidding. The we will also be adding it to the description for everything where we post this. And it was great having you today.
Thank you for having me. God bless you. I'll see you soon.
All right, everybody. I'll see you on the next episode.
You've been listening to Fully Managed, brought to you by Penji. Check out the show notes to learn more about today's guest, and to learn more about Penji, the human-first creative subscription service, head over to penji.co. And by the way, if you're still listening, it would mean the absolute world to us if you were to share this podcast with a friend, and of course, subscribe.